no matter the location. From O-A-K-L-A to L-V, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? We got some breaking news. The Las Vegas Raiders have decided to move on from center Rodney Hudson. This is an absolute stunning event, I guess. Nobody saw this one coming. Rodney Hudson has been one of the best centers in the National Football League. He's been a captain alongside of Derek Carr literally since he's basically been on the team. He still had 2 years left on his contract, which is pretty interesting considering the fact that last season the Raiders restructured his deal to make sure it would be a little bit more favorable going forward. He was no doubt one of the best centers, one of the best pass blocking centers in all of football. His dead cap hit, though, for this upcoming season, it's $15.61 million. Now, for the Las Vegas Raiders, to me, this tells me multiple things. They're just trying to do a totally new facelift on the offensive line, and this is, out of all the moves that they've made so far this offseason, is hands down one of the most questionable. He was able to play in all 16 games last year. He's allowed only 1 sack. When you go back and look at some of the most reliable players, not just the past 2-3 years, I mean, literally the past decade, I mean, you're looking at, he won Pro Football Focus's Center of the Decade. That's how good he's been. That's how much of an anchor he has been on this offensive line. So I'm curious what you guys have to say here. I'm breaking it down for you. This is my initial reaction. What is your one-word reaction to Rodney Hudson getting cut? Throw it down in the comments section. If you're upset about this move, I totally understand that. When I saw this come across by Ian Rappaport, I actually had to take a double look. I was like, wait a minute. I really find that hard to believe. But go down in the comments, and as a reminder, if you end up cursing, it's going to get blocked. So try to think of something else. If you want to drop the F-bomb, go ahead and just say the word Tom. But I want your one-word reaction to the Raiders cutting Rodney Hudson. Mine, WTF. That's literally what I put out there on Twitter. I just could not believe when this thing went down. He has been one of the most reliable players, and when I thought about all the moves that the Raiders were doing, especially on the offensive line, the one player that I was like, you know who's absolutely going to be here? It's going to be Rodney Hudson. I obviously liked Colton Miller as well, but when you consider the fact that the Raiders don't really have a plan at center, it does make me wonder what they're going to do. So you move on from Hudson. This is what I believe the Raiders' offensive line depth chart is going to look like now. I guess it's going to be Andre James, UCLA product, going to be slotted in to play center. That's a big role. He's going to have some huge shoes to fill. But when you also go and look at, sure, you got Colton Miller there at left tackle. I mean, besides that, you don't have really any of your players that you were hoping were going to start on the offensive line last year. I mean, Richie Incognito, he was the starting left guard. Look for either John Simpson or, I don't know, maybe they bring back Denzel Good. Now you got Andre James playing center. Denzel Good, he's a free agent, so you don't even know if you're going to bring him back. And Sam Young's also a free agent. I mean, they moved on from Trent Brown. You let go of Denzel Good potentially. You cut Gabe Jackson. You cut also another player in Richie Incognito. Before today started, the Raiders were top 5 in terms of snaps that needed to be replaced. In fact, 33% was the number. I haven't crunched the numbers for y'all yet, but I would almost guarantee with this move by Rodney Hudson and with them also losing Nelson Aguilar, you're looking at an NFL team that probably has the most snaps that they need to replace in. When the biggest concern for the Raiders this entire offseason has been building that defense, which you absolutely need to do. But I'm kind of worried now that all their focus is going on defense, and you're letting go one of your most important assets, and that's your offensive line. I don't care who you have at quarterback. I don't care who you have at running back, receiver, tight end. If you can't protect Derek Carr, if you can't open running lanes up, what the hell are you going to do? I mean, the offensive line was their main staple. Sure, they had a lot of injuries there last year. But Rodney Hudson, man, I am absolutely just blown away by this move here. So if you guys are always looking for the latest news and rumors around the Raiders, I promise you, we're going to keep you guys updated here. So hit that big red button and subscribe to the Las Vegas Raiders Report. We're keeping you up to date with news, rumors, Free agency, when I walked into work today, I was like, okay, who are the Raiders going to sign? They brought in Yannick Ngakoue. Maybe they were going to bring in a guy like Kyle Long, and when I get done doing this, sure, maybe it'll be a little bit different story. But the fact that this came down, that Rodney Hudson ultimately got cut, that was absolutely amazing. But that's something that we're always going to be keeping you guys updated here on. So seriously, we just crossed 75,000 subs. Hit that big red button that says subscribe. So the Raiders here, they cut Rodney Hudson, who, again, still had 2 years left on his contract. I mean, we're talking about $15.6 million in terms of dead cap hit. I just don't understand why you would rather cut Hudson, or you could have just saved $15 million and had him on the team. I can't wait to see what John Gruden, Mike Mayock have to say about this move, but I'm not feeling too good about it. And the other reason why I know Raider Nation is really freaking out right now is because you got to look at all the other moves that the Raiders made, especially on the offensive line. So first off, we're going to kick it off with Richie Incognito. He was released by the Raiders. Sure, the plan is still to bring him back. However, he hasn't been brought back yet. And how often have we already heard this offseason, oh, we plan on bringing back Nelson Aguilar. Oh, hey, we plan on bringing back Devontae Booker. Nelson Aguilar's gone to New England. Devontae Booker didn't come back. So I'm actually starting to get worried here. If our plan A is to let go of a guy and then bring him back, I don't know if I have a lot of confidence, and I actually don't know the direction that this Raiders team's going, because by moving on from Rodney Hudson, to me, that's a little bit more of something that you would do in a rebuild. Are the Raiders about to enter a rebuild? I don't know, man. I'm going to give it 2 Chucky heads right now. So, Richie Incognito, he was the one player. Gabe Jackson, he is still technically a member of the Raiders, if you will. So, they would save $9.6 million. The reason is, so the conversation came up with Gruden basically asked Gabe to take a pay cut. He and his team, they did not like that at all. So, that's when you saw the reports saying, okay, they're going to cut him. Technically, they have not cut him yet. All the anticipation is if he doesn't restructure his deal, then guess what? They will ultimately move on from him. The other player, though, that was on the offensive line, he was traded to the New England Patriots for basically a 2020 second-round pick or fifth-round pick or whatever. And it was Trent Brown. He was your right tackle. Went on the football field. Trent Brown's one of the best tackles in the league. And in 11 games in 2019, he made the Pro Bowl. Now, did the Raiders do a good job last year replacing Trent Brown? Yes, they absolutely did. But it's because they had veterans there. They had other players that were able to come in and fill those holes. You had left tackle Colt Miller. You had your anchor down the middle, Rodney Hudson. And then Denzel Good, shout out to Denzel, was able to fill in at left guard, right tackle, wherever you needed them. Now you don't have that flexibility. All you have now is Colton Miller at left tackle. Right guard is a question mark. Is it going to be John Simpson? Center, Andre James? I don't know. Right tackle? I don't know. Left guard or right guard? Dude, I don't know. If you're a Raiders fan right now, you should absolutely be freaking out, because I don't know who in the world is going to be protecting Derek Carr. And for all the Deshaun Watson, all the Russell Wilson rumors out there, I'll tell you what, man, I wouldn't go to this team right now with the offensive line they're cooking together. Now, I understand we're always hyped up around here around the Raiders Report, which is 100% reasonable, and we always say it is Raiders against the world. So if you guys want to go ahead and get yourself a Raiders against the world t-shirt, it's chatsports.com/RaidersWorld. Right now this thing is only $24.99. You can get it in sizes small all the way up to 4XL. So seriously, if you want a new shirt, we got the deal going on right now. It's chatsports.com/RaidersWorld. So we're going to recap one more time here. The Raiders, in a shocking move, breaking news, whatever you want to call it, they have decided to move on from center, move on from captain, one of the best players on this team, Rodney Hudson. Last year I made a video around the top 10 Raiders players. Number 1 on that list was Rodney Hudson. If you would have asked a lot of people this year, I don't think anybody would have came up with the idea of moving on from him. 2 years still left on his contract. It's a dead cap hit of $15.61 million. So can somebody please explain to me why in the world the Raiders ultimately did this? So how worried are y'all about this move? How worried are y'all about Rodney Hudson here? Because this one was shocking. So from a scale from 1 to 10, how worried are you about the Raiders O-line? 1 being you're not worried at all. 10 being you're freaking out. I mean, I'll tell you what, I'm actually probably close to a 9. I like Colt Miller a lot, but I don't know who the heck is going to be lining up here. If the Raiders had maybe a plan to go out and get, I don't know, one of the top centers in free agency like Corey Linsley, sure, this might have made a little bit more sense. Linsley, though, he went to the Chargers. That's another guy in your division. Okay, maybe you want to go out and get one of the top guards. Joe Thuney, he signed with the Chiefs. Another guy in your division for 5 years, $80 million. I'm not sure what the Raiders plan on doing. Maybe they are trying to go out now and get some people in the draft. Either way, though, I do not support this decision moving on from Hudson, and I would be absolutely shocked if any other Raiders people agree with this move. So let's hear it one more time here, okay? Name an offensive lineman the Raiders need to go out and sign. It's free agency, no doubt. So if you watch this and it's a little bit later on, maybe the free agency players that you're bringing up already got signed. But please, go ahead and let me know. Name an offensive lineman that I want you to that the Raiders should go out and sign. And you know what? As I'm talking about this now, I'm going to just make note. Takk McKinley is just gotten a deal done with the Cleveland Browns. So there's another player that the Raiders ultimately wanted to try to bring back. They were unable to do so. So Takk McKinley, he has ended up now going to the Cleveland Browns on a one-year deal worth $4 million. I am curious to see what ultimately happens because by the fact that he did not come back to the Raiders, that means that the Raiders now are going to get a conditional fifth-round pick. That's obviously going to be in 2022, but it is something to keep in mind here. If you guys like what we're doing here at the Raiders Report, I would definitely appreciate if you guys would go ahead and subscribe. Click that big red button. Now, whoo, boy, that was a lot of stuff going on. Looks like we're going to send it back to Tom Downey for the latest NFL free agency news.